Hey guys, Professor Bill of Comic Book University, and in this week's Marvel Superheroes Advanced Role-Playing Game System, we're going to be talking about flight, gliding, levitation, leaping, and super swimming. All right, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of really cool, crazy, creepy things like that. Now, I did originally make the entire video where I'm also talking about super speed. The problem is I talked for a really long time. That's right, I'm coming to you from the future. So I'm about to slip over into the actual video itself, but for right now, understand that lightning speed's going to have to come next week because I'm not putting up a 16-hour video. Actually, it would be a full hour. I'm not going to do that. So anyway, let's get right into, well, movement speed. Now we're going to get into super speed. And man, if I already took a half hour talking about all this stuff, let's have some fun now. Does anybody remember Super Saber? I loved the Super Saber. He was just the coolest dork mutant speedster ever. Back in the X-Men comics, the early 200s is where he was in. Super Saber, man, he had a limitation on his super speed. He couldn't decelerate on a dime. He had to slowly decelerate, you know? It's actually what killed him. Somebody set up a Garrett, and he was running, and by the time he saw it, he couldn't slow down enough in order to avoid it. He decapitated himself. It's messed up, man. It's a heck of a way to go. But he had the coolest power stunt I've ever seen. I don't care. Look, I'm a huge Flash fan, all right? You know what I'm saying? I just loves me some Flashes, all right? The Flash, the Reverse Flash, and all that. These guys fighting. Loves me some Flashes. But you know what else I really like? I like Super Saber because he had that snap. This dude was able to do a snap, and everybody around him, except for him, could be stunned by that. So power rank, boom, snap, and cause a stun attack, woof, out for, let's say, about an area. You know what I'm saying? Go look him up. I think he's in the Children of the Atom book. I can't actually remember, but he's in one of those books along those lines. The Mutant box set and all that, you know? Heck, I actually wrote here initially, give it a +1 column shift to stun. Anyway, multiple attacks. And guys, go back and check out episode 19 for more on multiple attacks. But absolutely, lightning fast reflexes should allow you multiple attacks. Wall crawling, okay? If you're able to vibrate super fast, you can, you know, control yourself enough so that you can vibrate and climb up walls. Now, why not do the running up walls? We'll get into that in a little bit. Maybe you're not fast enough to be able to run up walls, but being able to vibrate and hold in, or even, you know, vibrate in a way that you're controlling the electromagnetic spectrum to allow you the simulation of, because remember, all we are on the outside, we never actually really touch each other. I'm not actually, like, realistically, I know it looks, Bill, you're definitely touching each other. No, my electrons are touching each other. The rest of me, incapable of touching each other. Otherwise, I would mush, go right through myself, and I'd be some kind of, you know, literally a mush, you know? So instead, it's our electrons that block us from that stuff happening. So what if you were able to vibrate enough that you can control your electrons, that they're actually causing a static cling and allow you, let's say, -2 column shift wall crawling ability? Why might you need that? Maybe you want to stick and hold on to a wall to, you know, view a crime going down or something like that. Or you're not fast enough to actually climb up or you know, run up a wall, run up vertical surfaces. Let's see. Phasing and invisibility. This is obviously just moving your molecules in a way that you appear invisible, all right, to the naked eye. Your molecules are able to go in between the solid states that are in front of you. All right, so walking through a wall and things like that. All of these things should require concentration. Therefore, psyche feat rolls to maintain for a certain amount of time. Vibrate others. So let's say, you know, you ever get really mad at somebody and just, you know, hey, wake up, man, I'm talking to you. Imagine doing that at super speeds. All right, that would be the equivalent of punching someone with your power rank all over their body in one moment. All right, just shaking somebody to death. All right, shaking superhero syndrome. Oof. So, cyclones. We all know the idea of running around and making cyclones. I would say that you'd have to have at least Amazing 50, maybe. I don't know, man. You're probably causing like a gust of wind if you only got Amazing 50. Might have to be closer to Monster 75 or Unearthly 100 in order to be able to actually make a cyclone. And even then, I would probably make it like -6 column shifts to your, seriously, like -6 column shifts to your power rank, just because, you know what I'm saying? Cyclones are a heck of a deal. Plus, you would have to continually be running around it in order to control it. The second that you stopped, the cyclone would only have a certain amount of time to stay in existence. Like it would be -1 column shift per round, and you wouldn't be controlling it anymore. So it could just potentially go anywhere in any direction. Maybe back on you. Let's do, here's an interesting one that I've seen with Superman and the Flash. The Flash and other Flashes, the Flashes can talk really fast. All right, this is their super speed. They're like the Micro Machines guy. Micro Machines, they slice and dice and share it, all that crazy stuff. All right, and you're going to sound like a squeak, and your voice is actually going to drop, or it's going to raise in pitch but lower in actual bass. You can actually be able to talk as though it were a dog whistle, okay? But a dog whistle that you're actually communicating, like speaking words. Now, only someone else with super speed or someone with super hearing should be able to hear that. If you have super speed, then as long as your super speed is comparable, or you're choosing that I'm going to only speak at this level because my super speed is up here, his is here, I'm going to speak at this level so that he can hear me but nobody else can hear me, then you guys can talk back and forth and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? If not, if you just have the super hearing and you don't have super speed, then you can hear what this person is saying, but you're not going to be able to communicate back to that person. This is a one-way conversation, all right? So this is a really great way to have some fun with it, guys. You know what I'm saying? And or maybe you're creating a device, all right? Gadgeteering. I got 9 videos on gadgeteering, guys. Go back and watch them. But this is a really great way to have super secret communication with each other instead of just taking another language, you know? Yeah, have some fun with it. Okay. Jeez. Here's one of the craziest ones in the world. The Infinite Mass Punch. If you guys know The Flash, then you guys know the Infinite Mass Punch. Superman is one of the strongest characters in the DC universe, therefore in the comic book universe. And you know what? He can't punch as hard as the Flash. No, I'm serious. He can't punch as hard as the Flash. The Flash is able to run at such a speed, like running around the earth, all right? Sometimes a couple of times, and then charging right into somebody with his fist. Now, if you've ever seen the damage and the results of damage from a tornado or some kind of a twister, you know that, like, let's say a CD or a record album can slam right into a tree. And it itself, the record album, is not destroyed. But the tree itself is split because this thing was moving super fast. So it's not just the material strength of the item. It's actually got the material strength of the speed it's being flung at. So that's inertia. You know what I'm saying? You've got this super fast item, let's say a pencil. Imagine throwing a pencil at super speed. Yes, this is absolutely a power stunt also. That's something I have later on, using projectile missiles and projectile items with your super speed, throwing a pencil and making it go as fast as a bullet. You know what I'm saying? Boom! That's what I'm talking about. No joke. But let's say you were to also do this in the form of a punch. Your punch now has your body armor on it, okay? Literally, your punch has body armor of your super speed, because you're going at that speed. You're also doing the damage of your speed. Or you can even do it in the form of a charging attack, using your endurance, but hitting with your fist, doing the damage of your super speed, unless your endurance is higher. But infinite mass punch, man, when you got the kind of speed that the Flash has, that class 5000 speed, and some people ask, like, how would you handle the Speed Force? The Speed Force for me is the easiest thing in the world to handle. Instead of using regular land speed, you're going to use flight speed. Boom. Because there are multiple speedsters, all right? Superman is considered a speedster by every stretch of the imagination. He is a speedster. but he's not even remotely as close as any of the Flash is because he doesn't tap into the Speed Force. He doesn't have that ability to tap into the Speed Force. So how could I utilize the Speed Force in the Marvel Universe or in the Marvel Superheroes Advanced Role-Playing Game? Your super speed does not use the land and swimming chart on page 23 of the Advanced Player's Handbook. It uses the airspeed. Boom. That's simple. That's simple. Okay. Time travel. Time travel is an interesting one. Now, depending on your super speed, let's say you've got, even if it's like incredible 40 speed, I would say you're probably fast enough to be able to see like a second into the future. So maybe that'll give you +1 to your intuition. As long as you're saying like, that's what I'm doing this round, I'm going to try and see into the future. Okay. I know it's the weirdest thing in the world and it's comic books, man, just let it go. But it's the idea of just moving at the speed of light. That is time travel. You know what I'm saying? And therefore FTL, faster than the speed of light. FTSL. If you can move at incredible 40 speeds, or better, I would give you a +1 column shift or better to your intuition. But that's your action for the round. That's your action and your movement, I would say, for the round. So maybe not the movement. I would say that's your action for the round. The movement could be a dodge. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this guy's going to shoot at me. I'm going to dodge. All right? Maybe you're not as fast as a speeding bullet. But if you can see that just a second in the future, you definitely got an advantage. You know what I'm saying? You know how slow things move in strobe lights, right? Yeah. So time travel could actually absolutely be one of them. One of the things that Quicksilver was able to do for a while, even though he's not nearly as fast as the Flash, now maybe a current different story with the Saladin Ahmed books that are out, the Quicksilver No Surrender. But Quicksilver, while he was hanging out with the Inhumans and whatnot, using the Terrigen mists when he was exposed, he was able to jump into the future for literally like a couple of split seconds. So he could jump into the future like a couple of rounds and punch someone and then immediately be thrown back into the present. So if you were to do something like that and have a power stunt, I would say you'd have to have at least Monster 75 or faster speed, all right, in order to do this as a power stunt, or you've actually got the time travel ability with a massive limitation on it. Then every time that you get into, or let's say every 10 rounds, you could do something like this. That's the way I would look at it. Every 10 rounds, you can make a power feat roll under your time travel or your super speed and be able to jump into the future and punch somebody, or, you know, whatever you're going to do, move something, and then jump back. You know what I'm saying? You've got surprise on that person because you're over there fighting, and all of a sudden another you jumps, you know, the time barrier and takes something from yoink! I got your, you know, your orb of dragon kind, whatever, okay? And then you go back to whatever, you steal the crowbar from the wrecker. All right, have some fun with it. Have some fun with it. I would say it's a power stunt to be able to bring something back in time. That would be something entirely different. Yeah, that would have to be something entirely different. Also, then you'd have 2 of the Wrecker's crowbars there until that round was up. But so the way that I would do it is once every 10 rounds you could do that, and it would literally be you drop the die, you know, one single 10-sider, and if it says 7, okay. Then in 7 rounds, you're gonna be able to do an extra attack on this person. You get an extra movement, you know, whatever, against this person. If you want to make it multiple attacks against this person, then fine, you're gonna roll for that. But it's gonna be an extra round for you to do something during your other round where you're doing something anyway. What do you call it? But that's your round in order to do it. You know what I'm saying? And once every 10 rounds, you can do that. So that could be fun. And also you got the benefit of surprise because you're literally coming out of nowhere. All right. Sharing your speed. That's kind of like Speed Force, or, you know, your speed with a carrier wave. All right. Or not. Just having the ability to use your super speed, but sharing that super speed with others somehow. All right. It depends on how your super speed actually works. If it's just you being able to run fast and that's it, whatever. But if you get something like the Speed Force characters are able to, I think Impulse was the first person who did that, but I can't remember, that's Bart Allen, was able to share his Speed Force with someone else. Like, here you go, you don't actually have the Speed Force, but now you do. Let me show you how to do stuff, you know? That person can now run fast and do all sorts of crazy things like that. All right, so another one, guys, could be resistance to telepathy. Look, what if you had the ability to make your mind move really fast? Let's say somebody decided they want to try and read your mind or probe your mind or even control your mind. They've got to be able to actually lock onto something. Just imagine you're riding a bicycle and somebody reaches out to try and grab your tire. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how fast you're moving, you might just tear their freaking hand right off. Now imagine if they're actually trying to grab one of the spokes. You know what I'm saying? Not the easiest darn thing in the world to do. You can't stick it's very hard for you to stick a stick, to shove a stick in between someone's spokes while they're actually riding. So if someone is in the process of using the super speed, or this could actually be happening in multiple ways. Maybe consider giving the freebie to use an extra power for someone that their mind is always working at a certain speed. So hey, if you want, you can have the bonus power by spending a power slot for resist telepathy. And you could just roll for it or make it at your lightning reflexes, your hyper running, your hyper speed ability. You know, that would be one way to do it. Another way, to use it as a power stunt. So it's not always on. They have to choose to do that. And the way the power stunt would work is it could either be like, let's say, minus 50 class, you know, whatever. I don't even know if you'd want to do that. If you want to make it so it's like minus, you know, several column shifts to their ability, because you don't want them to be completely immune to telepathy. On top of that, I think that it would actually take a lot of concentration to be able to do it, to force your mind to think at a certain speed, if it doesn't already do that, you know? Like, to make it think fast enough that somebody else can't catch on to you, that could be interesting. So you could just simply make it, okay, minus 3 or 4 column shifts to your super speed. That's what your telepathy is, as long as you're paying attention to it. Another way to do it is take away every 1 column shift that you take away from your super speed will be 1 column shift of resist telepathy. Okay, so if you've got unearthly speeds and you say, okay, I'm going to do you know, minus 3 column shifts. So I'm going to run at what is it, incredible 40 speeds, and I'm going to give myself typical resistance to telepathy. This way, somebody casting a weak little telepathic spell on you, it's not going to work. You know what I'm saying? If you want to double the power rank that they can use this, so if you take away, you know, the 1-for-2 ratio, you take away 1 column shift away from your speed, then you can add 2 column shifts to resist telepathy. You know what I'm saying? That's one way you could do it. Or you could just simply say, okay, when you resist when you want to use the power rank or the power stunt of resist telepathy, it's minus, let's say, 4 column shifts to your super speed, and every 1 column shift that you take away from your super speed adds a single column shift to your resist telepathy. So in this case, I've got unearthly super speed. Then I'd have Remarkable 30, 40, 50, 70, yes. I'd have Remarkable 30 power rank for resist telepathy when I'm choosing to use that. But this guy's got, you know, this guy's like Doctor Strange, and he's got amazing 50 telepathy with his spells. Crap, I'm going to need better than Remarkable 30. I'm going to take away 2 column shifts of my super speed. So instead of running at Unearthed, I'm running at Amazing 50, but now I've raised this an extra 2 column shifts, so from Remarkable 30 up to also Amazing 50. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'll just come to a complete stop, add 10 column shifts to there. Well, you can only go up to Shift Z 500, right? So yeah, why not? Why not? Another superpower stunt, instead of making it a resist telepathy, make it a side screen. You're running around and causing, you know, your thoughts to interfere with someone else's thoughts also from the outside at the very least. So all of, you know, everybody here will have a certain level of resistance to telepathy. Just, again, have some fun with it, guys. Have some absolute fun with it. Air cushion vortex, I think we've all seen that, where the Flash is falling and he'll spin his arms really fast and, oh, yay, I was able to, I can't imagine spinning my arm that fast, man. But, yeah, and then you cause yourself to slow down to, you know, a nice, comfortable speed, so you can just land on your feet and you're fine, you know? Or doing it for someone else also. Doing the circular vortex and causing an air cushion on the ground below someone else who's falling. All of that, power stunt. Here's an interesting one that I thought of. Purging toxins, all right? So you basically have resistance to toxins, maybe even diseases also, because you're speeding up your metabolism specifically to purge yourself of food poisoning or some kind of a crazy thing, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're causing your white blood cells to start reacting at a much faster rate and start destroying whatever poison is in you. So if someone hits you with a tranq dart, as long as you don't actually fall unconscious, if you fall unconscious, you're unconscious. It is what it is. But if you can hold off for just a moment and then say, oh, I'm going to direct all of my speed towards my metabolism, you can try and purge that right out of your system. You just burn right through it. If a snake bites you, you know what I'm saying? Oh, no problem. I'm just going to run at super speeds or, you know, vibrate my body really fast and cause this snake venom to just, you know, dissipate because I got this. You know what I'm saying? That, I think, could be a really fun one. All right? Which also brings me to the idea of one of the limitations. My favorite limitation for super speed, you have to eat like a fiend. All right? You have to make a resource feat every time that you run in order to not pass out. You know what I'm saying? From hunger. And even when you wake up, you're still hungry. So, absolutely. We already talked about the projectiles. One way to do it is, you know, just throw things at people. Another way to do it is spin around really fast, like Whirlwind. Used to be called the Human Top. Love that character. I know it's silly, but I absolutely love that character, man. Whirlwind is totally radical character. But let's say you were to just run over and just really quick, you know, start throwing whatever at somebody, you know, start flinging a bunch of pencils at somebody or paper clips. You know, you got projectile weapons right there, man. What if you were to have a whole bunch of, let's say, playing cards, and you just ran at somebody and then did a U-turn really quick? All of these projectiles, even playing cards, they're flying right at this person. You know what I'm saying? So you're causing a major amount of, you know, or let's say you're running and you got like a box of thumbtacks or two, and as you're running, you just kind of open them and, you know, behind you, and they start falling behind you. They get caught in your slipstream, and they just run right past a person, and guess what? Bring! This person gets hit with all those thumbtacks. Man, that would be sick. Or caltrops, even better. They could be stones for all I care. Oh, God. One of the power stunts that I've got in my mind is I used to watch The $6 Million Man when I was a kid because, you know, I'm old. And one of the power stunts that he did was he grabbed a whole bunch of little tiny pebbles and started throwing them in a certain pattern against a solid rock. And he imitated the sound of a rattlesnake. Just let that sink in, all right? It scared some people off because it sounded like there was a rattlesnake. I'm just saying. Yeah, I guess he could have beaten the guys up, but he didn't want the person to come over and discover this certain area, whatever. Anyhow, yeah, causing whirlwinds, running like a whirlwind. A power stunt could be being able to, you know, spin yourself the way that the Human Top, the Whirlwind does. One of the power stunts that you could, or one of the limitations you could have is that, you know, you actually get sick, you get vertigo, you know, you're open to vertigo. Another power stunt could be, or limitation, like I said with Super Saber, you can't decelerate on a dime, you know. Your natural ability is that you can indeed decelerate just like that. You can come to a full stop when you're at your full speed of running. You can stop on a dime. But instead, if you make it that, you know, much like with flight, oh, you can decelerate to half your speed, and then the next round, you can finish completely. Well, if you're running at, you know, let's say 7 areas per round, remember, you're always going to divide up. You're always going to divide up out of your favor. If you're running at 7 areas per round, and you want to stop, okay, you still got to move another 4 areas. Then, the next round, you can stop. You can come to a complete stop. Yeah, so, I'm running at 7 areas per round. Okay, you got another, I want to stop? Fine. You got 4 more areas you're running before you can come to a complete stop. That's the way that it works. I dig that. I dig that. Just be careful of tripwires around the area of your neck. Healing. Healing could be a really good one. Causing your body to heal at accelerated rates. That could absolutely be a good thing. And now if you're transferring speed, if you've got the power stunt, I'm going to stop and cause myself to heal really quick, stitch myself up a little bit, then cool. Now you got that power stunt, and now you also get the other power stunt to transfer your speed. You could also transfer your power stunts, or at least that power stunt. Purge someone of poisons or cause them to heal faster. Why not? Why not? An inertia field here. I loved when I was studying inertia and force equals mass times acceleration and all that, really cool physics stuff. I really like that. So inertia fields for me is, I love the idea of conceptualizing that when I'm talking about hyperspeed, So let's say you've got an inertia field around yourself when you're running. You can make that a power stunt that, whenever I run, I automatically put up a force field around myself. You know what I'm saying? That's my inertia field. So it allows me to, keep on running without being affected by friction. It also allows me to have, let's say, -3 column shifts body armor, or you can, make it -6 column shifts body armor, whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? However you're able to explain it. But I think that -3 column shifts would be fine. I got, -3 column shifts to my body armor from my super speed every time that I run. When I come to a stop, nope, I've actually got it. And I can't vibrate in place and cause that body armor to show up. I've actually got to have my feet moving in order to do that. So, yeah, I could totally see that. Yeah. Oh, hyper digging. Obviously, that'd be one of them. And don't forget, any kind of movement ability that you've got, except for teleportation, can be used at your power rank of lightning speed with whatever other power you have. So let's say you've got flight of typical 6, but hyperspeed of unearthly 100. You now have flight of unearthly 100. And that's not your ground speed, that's your air speed. All right? Keep that in mind. You can absolutely do a power stunt to swim really fast while, with your super speed, unless you've already got swimming, in which case, done and done. All right? Make sure you guys are having fun with this. That's the important part. You don't want to put you don't want to put the weight of the world inside. Remember, if somebody's trying to play an RPG, I know you don't want to unbalance your game, but at the same time, you don't want to completely take away the other person's fun. And when you're talking about limitations and power stunts and things like that, remember, with the Marvel Superheroes role-playing game, all of the versions, the face-rip games, the idea is to not get new powers. It's to get new power stunts so that you're using your powers in different ways. That's the adventure. That's the real fun. You turn up with a secondary mutation, they usually wind up falling flat. You're just not digging it. The character is who he or she is, but finding new and different and creative ways to use their power, that's where all the fun comes from. So even if you can't fully understand it, but you just a little bit get it, let your player do it. You know what I'm saying? Just let the character have some fun. Who cares how stupid it is? Snapping your finger and causing a stun? That's ridiculous. But I love it. It's my favorite power stunt with super speed. So definitely, just chillax. Sometimes things just don't make sense in the superhero world, especially with movement powers. Think of Namor. Little tiny anklet wings. I'm going to fly. Come on, man. Come on. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. Have some fun. Keep gaming. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.
Thank you.